Hello, Johnny.
I am sorry, I'm eating, so don't
Where are you
want,
going?
I'm saying I'm eating, so
Oh,
I don't want to show my face eating.
okay.
Okay.
Enjoy. Bon appetit.
Thank you.
Yeah, well,
I don't want to eat too late, otherwise it gets too late already. Ah, where's everybody else?
Monday.
Good evening,
Hi,
everybody.
Ernie, how are you?
Johnny,
Sorry, I'm eating, so I don't want to show my face eating.
no problem. Okay. We are on the Mishnah on the bottom of Mem Beis, Amud Beis, 42b. Hi, George, on the bottom. We're still in the Sugi of Pigul. Elu dvarim she'en chayav lahem mishum Pigul. Pigul only takes effect on an item which needs a matir. Something has to be done to allow you to eat of the korban. For example, when you shech the shlamim or any korban, you can't eat the korban until you do the zrika sadam on the mizbeach. So you can be mafagel, you can have a machshavas chutz lizmano during the act of shchita or karbala halacha during zrika, but on an item that itself, there's nothing, on an item that is a matir itself, having in mind at that point, chutz lizmano does not create pigul. Here's an example. Hakoimetz. So when you do kmitza, you have a mincha, flour, and you go in with your hand and you do kmitza. You take and you clean up and you put a little bit in the kli, and the kli has to be thrown. So the kmitza is the matir itself. By throwing the kmitza, that allows you to eat the mincha. So there's no machshavas pigul during the kmitza. Vaktoires. The ktoires is completely burnt on the mizbeach. There's nothing that matir the ktoires. Look at Rashi. Hakoimetz im kimetz lechol shiraim lemocher. During the act of kmitza, he has in mind to eat the shiraim tomorrow. And v'nispagla mincha. And the mincha now becomes pigul. Eina oichelas hakoimetz bekores. Eating the koimetz does not give you kores. The mincha becomes pigul. Sheina pigul chal el adavar sheyesh lo matir in acherim. The prohibition of the eating the pigul is only on something that needs something else to matir it. But the koimetz itself is the matir. Who matires a mincha? Same thing, Levona, same all of these. Baktoires, Valavoina, the spice. Uminchas ko'onim, when a Kohen donates a mincha, it's all burned. So there's no kmitza. Minchas Kohen Mashiach, the Kohen Gadol, if he wanted to give a mincha, it would be offered in the morning and in the afternoon. It's all burned. The hadam, the blood, if you eat the blood, that's the matir. So there's no pigul kores. If the animal becomes pigul, and you eat the dam, you don't get kores. Sometimes wine is brought on its own, and it's poured on the mizbeach. Even wine libations that go along with the animal, there's no pigul. Then luk shemen shel mitzora, the oil of the mitzora that the Kohen has to put on his big toe. Reb Shimon Omer ein chayv lo mishum pigul. If you eat the luk shemen, there's no kores, because there's no matir for that. But Reb Meir Omer no, chayv lo mishum pigul shedama osha matiro. When you throw the dam of the korban osha of the mitzora, only then do you sprinkle the shemen on the toe of the Kohen. And the principle is kol sheyesh lo matirin bein lo adam bein lo mizbech chayv lo mishum pigul. If, let's say, the meat of a shlomim or the meat of an olah, for example, where you do the zrika sadam and then that allows you to eat it or the mizbech to eat it. So on those things, chayv lo mishum pigul. Right? So ha'oila doma matir psar lemizbeach. Sprinkling the blood of an olah allows you to eat the meat. It allows you to offer the meat of the korban on the mizbech, and you give the hide v'oira lekohanim. Oila sa'oif doma matir psara. The blood of the oila sa'of allows the meat of the bird to be put on the mizbech. Chatas of dama matras psar lekohanim. Chatas, a bird chatas, the kohanim eat the meat. Parim an nisrafim, like the parim davar shel tzibur, the par yom kippurim. Useirim an nisrafim, like the sorry avodah zarah. There it's burnt. The meat is not eaten, but when you throw the blood of those korbanos, matir semurin likare. The emurin are placed on the mizbeach. Reb Shimon Omer kol she'en al mizbech hachitzon kishlomim. If their blood is not applied on the outside mizbech, so Reb Shimon says any blood that's not applied on the outside mizbech, like a shlomim, because the whole din of pigul is learned by shlomim, then ein chayv lo mishum pigul. Omer ula koimitz pigul shehelu al gabe mizbech. An animal, a mincha became pigul, and you did some kmitza on the flour and you put it on the mizbech. Paka pigula mimena. It sort of removes the pigul. Im acherim evi lidei pigul hu atzma lo kol shekin. Now, what does that mean? My kamar, hochi kamar. Im eno miskabel. If putting the kmitza, which has been made pigul, it's not a ru'uya haktara. Heich maybe achem de pigul. The koimitz has to be offered appropriately for the mincha to become pigul, and the animal had already become pigul. So my kamashmal, what's the chiddush here? Ishen chavla mishum pigul. If you tell me there's no pigul, tanina elud varm shen chavla mishum pigul. A koimitz. So you're not, even if you don't put it on the mizbech, it's not poka pigula mimena. You don't get kares for eating the kmitza. Ella, another din, the im alu lo yardu. That if the kmitza of this pigul mincha was put up on the mizbech, you don't take it off. So the Gemara says, Tanina, we learned that already. Halon, meat that was kept overnight until the next morning, or meat hayotse has been taken out of the azara, ve'atame, or meat that became tame, or meat shenishkat chutz zman v'chutz l'mkomo, where the animal was shechted with improper machshava. In all these cases, im olu lo yardu. We already have a halacha that if you put them on the mizbech by mistake, you don't take them off. So what is this Mishnah telling us? Ella, what is the statement of Ula telling us? Ella shim yardu yalu. That if they fell off, you're allowed to put it back. So the Gemara says, Hanami Tani, we learn that as well. Kashem shim olu lo yardu. If they put them up, you don't take them down. Im yardu lo kachim yardu lo yalu. There is a Mishnah that says, no, if they fell off, you don't put them back. So, lo tzricha shemosh ben ha'or. Ula is talking about a case where the fire has taken hold more than 51%. If so, then you can put it back. Hanami amr Ula chadizimna. But this halacha was told us by Ula somewhere else. Damar Ula. Loi shanu, that things that fell off the mizbech, you don't put them back. That's Ela Shlo Mashal Ben Ha'or. The fire hasn't taken hold of a Mashal Ben Ha'or Yalu. But if they've already been more than 51% burnt, they've already been burned, so put them back. Still is a Chiddush. When do we say you put it back? Aver de Mechaber. Let's say a limb, which is one big piece, and part of it has been burnt, the other part is not. So if they fell off, you can put it back. Aval koimetz, the mifras. Flour is separate. It's not one thing. And maybe that which has been burnt should be put back, but the rest should not. Kamash Malon, that no, the whole thing is put back. Amar Avachoy Hilkach, since Kmitz is considered like one thing, Hai Koimitz Pickle de Page Machasa'ara. This piece of pickle that had been koimitz, that had been thrown on his back and fell off, upage aske, and or half of it is on the ground, half was on the mizbech lemarocha umasha ba'or, and the part that was placed on the mizbech burnt masinat leilakula lechatchila. The stuff that's on the ground you can put lechatchila on the mizbech. Amar Rav Yitzchak Amar Rav Yochanan. Hapigel vanois v'atome she'el on lagabe mizbech poka isur mehen. You can keep them there. It's like the isur went away. Amar Rav Chisda Mori Dachi. What do you mean? Mizbech mikveh tahar? What do you mean? Mizbech is like a mikveh, and it can be mitar tmeim. Amar Rav Zeira shemoshel banor. We're talking about the fire has consumed 51%, and there it's like a bottle. Masrag is a barbisna. Acherim oimrim. It says v'tumaso alav. Mi shetuma parechas bimenu. You're talking about a person who becomes tummy, but he can go into a mikvah and no longer be tummy. But yotza basar, meat that becomes tummy, you can't put in the mikvah. She'ein tuma parechas bimenu. V'imisa, if Rav Yochanan is correct, why can't we say it is a mikvah? Harei tuma parachas me'adei or. We just said if his mizbech burns 51% of what was put on it, it's like the tuma goes away. Amar Rava, ayidei mikvah kamina. Now, when we talk about poirachas, we're talking about only in a mikvah. Where it says meeting mikvah, it doesn't say mikvah. It says any kind of tuma that flies away. El Amar of Papa, bibsar shlami maskinon. This pasuk was referring to meat of a shlamim. Delachazi la krava. The meat is eaten. It's not put on the mizbeach. And therefore, this is not a case where you would put it on the mizbeach to get rid of its tumah. Ravina Amar are different terrors. Even if we say that if you put a tameh piece of meat on the mizbeach, the tumah goes away. The pasuk of tumaso alav is mi shetuma parachas mena keshu shalem. Somebody whose tumah goes away when it's complete. Yotza basar dover shein tumas parachas keshu shalem ela keshu chaser. It's not shalom anymore because 51% of it has been burnt. Gufa. It says Hanefesh asher tochal basar mizevach hashlomim asher laHashem v'tumaso alav. If a person eats shlomim meat and he has tuma, the nichras gets kares. That's the case of a tome person eating kochim meat. Tumaso alav, tumas aguf. We're talking about there's bodily tuma. Akosum medaber. We're not talking about a regular person eating tome meat. Maybe it means the meat is tame. Nefesh is lashon nekeva. Basar is lashon zachar. Maybe the basar is tame. Nemar kan tumas olav. The nemar alon tumas olav v'chuli. It says kol hanogea b'meis v'lo yischata. Whoever touches a dead body and doesn't get paraduma. Tame yeh o tumas ovo. And we make a hekesh. Ma'ala halam tumas agufa kosum medaber. That's talking about a person becoming tame. Afkan. Here by the shlomim eating it, the tumas agufa kosum medaber. Rav Yossi Omer different proof. Hoil the nemru kachim b'loshen rabim. It says shlomim. The nemru tuma b'loshen yochid alav. We're talking about the tumas agufa kosum medaber, and not the tumas of the shlomim. Rabbi Omer third proof. It says v'nefesh ki siga b'chol tamei ve'achal mipsar zevach hashlamim. Somebody who touched somebody who's tamei and ate kodshim. The achal, let's talk about tumas agufa kosum medaber. Fourth proof. Acher moimrim v'tumaso alav. It's misha tuma parachas menu. It's only referring to somebody like a human being who can get rid of the tumah by going in the mikvah. But now he has tumah. Yotza basar ain't tumas parachas. You can't put a tiny piece of meat in the mikvah and it becomes tar. There's no way to be mitarid. Period. That's the baraisa that brings 4 or 5 proofs that the tumasu alav here refers to tumas aguf. Aramar Rabbi Yomer. This pasuk v'achal referring is betumas aguf akosum medaber. Now my mashma. What's the proof? Amar Rav kol krad lo mefarish le Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi. Any pasuk that wasn't explained by Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi. V'chol masnis lo mefarish le any mishnah that was not explained by Rav Zeiri. Lo mefarish has not been explained well. Hachi Amar Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi. This is how Rav Yitzchak bar Avdimi understands the pasuk. It says v'nefesh ki siga b'chol tamei ve'achal mipsar zevach hashlamim v'nichras ha'nefesh ahi me'ameh. Hoilu pasuk hakosum b'loshen nekeva v'nefesh v'sayim b'loshen nekeva v'nichrasa b'loshen zocher be'emtza v'tumasu alav. So b'tumas aguf hakosum medaber. It's again a proof that we're talking about bodily tumah. That's the pasuk. Masnisa of Zeiri explains the Tanya. Im nemru kalois lama nemru chamuros. If we have lenient laws, why do we have stringent? Vim nemar chamuros lama nemar kalois. If you have stringent, why do we need lenient? Im nemar kalos lo chamuros. If we would only have the leniencies, hayisi yomer ala kalois. On the minor transgressions, it's belav. Malchus. Vala chamura is b'misa. Like misa b'dei shemayim. Lekach nemar chamuros. V'im nemar chamuros v'lo nemar kalois. If I'd have only had the strict law, hayisumer ala chamuros yechayev, and maybe ala kalos ye potter completely without malchus. Lekach nemar kalois. That's the baraisa. But it's sort of a closed baraisa. We don't really understand what it's talking about. My kalos, my chamuros. Well, what's going on here? Ilema kalois means eating meiser sheni b'tumas aguf, and chamuros is eating truma. And if the Torah would have only told me the Yisra only by meiser and not by truma, hayisi oimer, I would have said that eating truma is b'misa. Hashtanami. Now that the Torah talks about both. When you eat truma b'tumas aguf, it's not b'misa capital punishment, it's b'misa b'dei shemayim. V'su The loy nemar, if only lenient cases are not chamur sa'isi oimer, that maybe the punishment for the chamurs was misa mamish misa. How can you learn that? We have a principle, dayalavum nadin lios benidin. You can't learn the kal v'chomer more than where you're learning it from. If the tamei person who eats meiser is only malchus, you can't say truma is going to be worse. Ella kalos means tumas sheretz, means not tumas ameis, but you touch the sheretz. Chamuros is tumas meis. It says vanogeh b'chol tomei nefesh. That's touching a dead body. O ish asher yiga b'chol sheretz. Two types of tumah. Uvamai. Ibetruma, Aidi hu b'misa. Both are going to be misa b'dei shemayim. V'su, lekach nemer chamuros, when you said, oh, this is why we were told the stringent ones, because that they were not b'misa, and only belav, but it's not so. Truma is clearly b'misa hi. V'ibachilas meiser, and if you're not about truma, we're talking about meiser, well, im loy nemer chamuros, ha'yisur melech chamuros b'misa. We wouldn't have had a havamina to say it's misa either. Okay, so this we'll pick up tomorrow. Later on, 8 o'clock, we're going to be learning the Esther. We'll see everybody in a half hour.
And thank you.
Daya.
Bye, everyone.